Hello and welcome to this week's iteration of Webtoon Wednesdays. I think this would be really fun for me. I actually enjoy doing this. A lot of you guys suggested really good webtoons to check out, and I did, and I happily did so. Yeah, so 2 points before I get started. I read about the first season or chapter or part or whatever, what it was free. Before I got the pop-up that said, pay a few coins or watch an ad. So that's where I stopped, okay? For this video, because after this, well, actually there's a couple of them I did finish before recording this. These were really, really good. I'm gonna do about like 3 or 4 per video if I continue this. And I picked one from each of your suggestions just to kind of get this started, just to see how this works out. But yeah, I also wrote my notes as I was reading, and I kind of went back and forth, but like as things developed. But yeah, overall, all of these were amazing. All of these suggestions were amazing, 10 out of 10. Especially the one I'm about to talk about called School Bus Graveyard. This was suggested by Legacy Soul -R6Q. Thank you so much for your suggestion, by the way. I really loved this. Like, this was so good. So immediately, like, the intro scene of this grabbed my attention. It immediately made me think of The Walking Dead, but it was not this is not anything like The Walking Dead, like very different, but it just gave me the same vibe immediately. So, School Bus Graveyard. Ashlyn is a loner in high school with no friends, but when a fateful visit to a haunted house causes her and her classmates to see monsters at night, she'll be forced to forge bonds to survive. It's a mystery, confined survival, and conspiracy, which, yeah, that checks out. I'm gonna argue against like the tags that the author themselves added. So it follows the main character, Ashlyn, who sometimes goes by Ash in the story, and their classmates. It kicks off when they all go to like this haunted house, which is based off of our actual real house. It's called like the Sorrel Weed House, which has like its own, in real life, its own like horrifying stories attached to it. Them getting haunted by it is not so far off from reality, which is very, very interesting. I read a comment where one person mentioned like it was real, and I was like, really? I looked it up. Oh yeah, it's real. It's a real place. Interesting. If you want a story with a strong female protagonist, this is it, because Ashlyn is very, like, she stands up for herself. She's independent, which is good or bad as the story progresses. But she's very, she can figure stuff out. She's very resourceful, very smart, and kind of is a natural leader. She's a natural leader. She kind of takes the leader role in the story, and rightfully so, because she's really good at planning. There's like a character in this that's constantly like yapping and being annoying, and she shuts that character up. Rightfully so. You'll know who I'm talking about when you read. I really like this story because it doesn't make the background characters or the supporting characters feel like they're just kind of there. All the characters in this are very complex. They all have like their own personalities, their goals, their own personal struggles. Each character has their own thing going on, and I really like that. And yeah, it really kind of talks about like how they all had like their own dreams, goals, aspirations after high school. But now, after going to a haunted house and being haunted, now, that's kind of put into the rear. And that really affects all of them in different ways. And it's very interesting how they all kind of cope with like their new life now. And they're all kind of in this together, trauma bonding, if you will, because it's pretty traumatic. Seeing basically a sleep paralysis demon for the rest of your life, I assume. Hopefully they become free of this at some point. But yeah, it's such a good story. And also the parents in this are actually competent, which is good to see. And they don't immediately like shut off, like brush off their kid when their kid is like, hey, mom, dad, I'm going through like a horrifying experience. They don't immediately go, it's just a nightmare. They're like, okay, let's help you. Like, the parents in this are actually a very vital point in this story, actually. And, like, the parents are actually there and being parents, being guardians, being actually caring for their kids. And they're not, like, letting their kids run about by themselves if they can help it. Like, they're trying. It's really nice to see parents trying in a story like this. Because sometimes you read like mangas or like comics or whatever, wherever type stories, and sometimes the parents are just like, oh yeah, they're on their own doing some crazy stuff. Hello? Like your kid's like 12 and he's going Super Saiyan in the backyard. You're just gonna like let that. Okay, sure. No, like these, like in this story, like they're there, they're present, which is good. It's nice to see present parents. I love this, and I read both seasons. I read season 2. I couldn't stop myself because this was really good. Like, this was a really good story. So yeah, I read the whole thing. I read all of it. Yep. Anyways, moving on. This one was suggested by Sana Fatima 6818. Out of your list, I picked Surviving Romance because that sounded interesting. I was like, Surviving Romance? Is this a horror romance? Kinda. But it's time for one of these, you know? I'm like, I want to see something crazy. Yep, it's crazy. It's wild. And I'm so happy that Webtoon has a comment section. This comment section is funny. Like, the people in the Surviving Romance comment section, they're funny. There was this one comment that kind of killed me after I read a chapter where it was like, what is with Webtoons and almost being hit by buses? Like, that was really funny. The main character, at the start, you think they're crazy, obsessive, creepy, wild, should be locked up. All those can be true. And she is all those things. But she's also very smart and very resourceful and determined and very, like, she can go into detective mode, and when she's in detective mode, she's trying to solve this mystery. Let me read the blurb before let me read the thing. When Sharon becomes the protagonist of the romance novel she's reading, she expects a fairy tale ending with the novel's love interest. But when a bizarre twist makes her realize the story is not playing out as it does in the book, she'll need the help of an unlikely character from her class to defy the new storyline and find her happy ending, if only she can figure out who this unknown extra is first. Yeah, so in this story, it's kind of like an isekai. Well, it is an isekai where I don't know how she died or if she died. Actually, I have no idea. I don't think he even mentioned that. I just think it just happened. She was just thrown into this world, into this romance novel that she's very fond of. So she knows the story in and out completely. She's kind of thrown into this world where now she knows that she's supposed to have her Prince Charming and her destined love interest, but it doesn't happen. And the story kind of veers off course and is not following the plot at all. And that's where the mystery part kicks in, where now she's trying to figure out what went wrong and why the horrors that are happening. Because there is a horror in this. Hi, so this is editing me. I kind of want to jump in here and just kind of say, also ignore my acne. I'm breaking out. I didn't mention this in the video, but I made note of it, which is funny. I just like completely missed this when I was speaking. But there's also a really funny moment in this where it has a nice, a really good, well-written moment where she's desperately trying to save this one character in the story here, but she looks insane to everyone else. So she has a moment, I think it's like episode 4 is when this moment happens, and it has like this really nice display of like her happiness and like this oh, I finally saved you moment, where she has like just pure smile, happiness on her face, whereas there's the reality for everyone else in the story who isn't aware that their day is being repeated, or they're part of an isekai or whatever, part of a novel. So to them, they're just seeing her covered in blood and like this horrifying scene. So to her in this moment, very like, it's just like this pink rainbows, bliss, sparkles, and then everyone else in that moment is like, who is this crazy person? What the heck did you just do? I'm being vague, very vague. I don't want to spoil anything, but there was just a really interesting moment, and if you guys read this and you see what I'm talking about, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool, funny, and very scary. The main character scares me. She's very she's aware and also unaware in a lot of moments of like how she comes across to everyone else around her. It delivers like those very interesting moments like that, and I really like that. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I wrote that down and I just never spoke about it when I was recording initially. Anyways, bye. Well, not bye. Back to the video. Yeah. Okay. It is also interesting to see a character like this kind of reflect back, because she does have her reality check moments where she does have a moment where she kind of talks about how scary it is to be kind of thrown into this world, and I really find that aspect very interesting, where it is kind of horrifying to just like one day wake up and you're not in your world anymore, where like one day you're in like this world with your friends, family, people you know, the world you know, the streets you're aware of, like the buildings and everything that you have had around you your whole life. And then one day you wake up and you're in a different body, you're in a different world, and you don't know anyone anymore. Everyone you knew is gone. So there's like a very interesting aspect where she does have like reflection moments like that, and I really think that's interesting. I will read more to see if she kind of develops on that a little bit more, see where that kind of takes off, because I really find that interesting. I only read what was free. I only read up to the free portion, so maybe when I start watching ads or using my coins, my Webtoon coins, my precious coins, maybe they kind of like expand on that a little bit more. So, but I really find that interesting because you don't really see that in a lot of isekais. They often they're thrown into this world and then like that's it. Sometimes they reflect and you're like, oh yeah, that world was shit. That world sucked. I'm in this cool world now. But you never really hear like someone be like, oh well, this kind of sucks. Where's all the shit I know about? Oh, that's gone. See, even if it was just like a small moment, I really do find that interesting. If you know another story kind of like that, where they actually are like, hey, this kind of sucks. Bring me back. I want to know. I want to know if that's a story that exists. The next one I read, this was suggested by Supreme Kaivi. I read two of what you suggested because I wanted to read Mafia Nanny, but you also said please check this out, 2 Tears of a Withered, so I also read that. I will get to that one in a second. Let me talk about Mafia Nanny first, which was very interesting. I really liked it. So let me load this up. Being an elite nanny is simple. Protect the charge, obey the principal, and don't get emotionally attached. Easier said than done when Davina's first client is a dangerously compelling Venetian underboss who's determined to get under her skin. What he wants from her, she can't imagine, but Gabriel Angelini drags her back into the glittering world of organized crime she thought she left behind forever. She might get answers about her past if she digs deep enough, but can she protect Mikey from his father's ambitions and keep her heart from getting tangled up in their treacherous web? Action, crime-solving, slow burn romance. Yeah, it's a slow burn romance. I often forgot there's a romance aspect of this because the actual story of this is so good. I read the whole thing. I had to read the whole thing. This is good. Like, this is really good. But it's also like unserious and serious at the same time. Like, there's obviously, you have to be a little unserious when you're talking about an elite nanny organization. So it's really funny for that. But yeah, it is about like this character, the main character, Davina, who comes from an elite nanny organization meant to be the nanny of the top elites in the world. Children. Their children. Top elites in the world children. Yeah. So she's like kind of like a black ops type nanny. It is actually really good because there's like so many plot points that are very interesting, because there's the main plot point, which they mention here, is that she comes from this world of organized crime, but that is her past, and now she's like this elite nanny who becomes part of this organized crime family. And so there's a part of that where she's kind of has like her past that she's kind of dealing with, and also there's the part where she's the nanny of this kid who she sees a reflection of herself in, who now she kind of just wants to give this kid like as normal can be for a child of a mafia boss. She wants to give this kid like a normal life and to kind of explore other options. So there's a big aspect of this of just like a really good family, very adorable. Like there's a lot of like very sweet, adorable moments in this, like where you're like, aw. So, and this kid is very funny because he obviously really looks up to his dad. So he often kind of has like his little funny moments where he thinks he's like also a mafia boss. So he dresses up in little suits and walks around pretending to be like his dad, but then like also a big aspect of it is trying to make sure this kid has a normal childhood. So there's like a really good like family aspect to this story. That's really charming, very cute. And then also there's also the other part where she's kind of falling in love with like the father of the kid. So there's that romance part that kind of kicks in sometimes, and it does kick in. Like the romance parts do hit really well, but like the other parts of it are so good. Like there's like so much good drama. Like the story is so well written. I really like this a lot. It's very, very cute, very thrilling, and very like it always kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like there's a really good story here, and I really like it. It's so adorable. Like this story is so adorable. I like this a lot. Definitely recommend this. I also took a look at your other suggestion that you said please twice for, Tears of a Withered. So when I looked it up on Webtoons, I came across Tears on a Withered Flower. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's the one I found on Webtoons, so that's the one I read. I always saw this on my homepage and I kind of just ignored it because the cover image kind of made me laugh each time, because she's like this tiny armed lady with big boobs and there's like this massive man next to her, and I don't know, it just looks so kind of wild that I just kind of ignored it, but I read it. I did. So let me read the little blurb. Romance, flowers, and dates. Once upon a time, that was the perfect description of Haeseo and Mincheol. Now, all Haeseo has is the ashes of their marriage and a mountain of debt. Her world shatters completely when Mincheol cheats on her with a young coworker. Hurt and betrayed, Haeseo finds herself drawn to Taeha, a young man who seems desperate for her attention and may be hiding more than he shows. So, I read a little bit of this. This was a lot. How is the love interest in this book like 8 feet tall, or is like the girl in this like 3 feet? I can't tell. Like she is. This is supposed to be unserious, right? It's supposed to be unserious, like, cause there's parts of this where she's like, oh, I'm so like old and decrepit or whatever. And everyone else is like, no, you're like the most beautiful girl. And she's like, no, I'm so old. I'm 30 and like old. And then like, she's like this. She's like this big. She has very tiny arms, perfect face, big boobs, massive butt. And then the love interest is like this 8 feet tall. Actually, all the guys in this are like 8 feet tall dudes compared to her. I don't know. And like her husband is like evil, like just so evil. It mentions the debt. He put her in that debt. Chapter 1, you learn this immediately. Like he took out a loan under her name, racked up a bunch of debt, then cheats on her. And then every time he comes home from work, he bullies her, calls her ugly, all this shit. Like he's just evil. He's beyond evil. So then he's so evil that it's all right for her to, you know, fall in love with like this other guy, a younger guy, I think. But yeah, so insane. Like there's a lot of points in this where I kind of just laugh. I'm like, this is so crazy. Like it feels like, I think it's supposed to be unserious. I think that's what it is. I think it's supposed to be like, I don't think anyone's actually reading for the plot anyways. Like they're just like, oh, hot guy, hot girl. It's smut. But if you were reading it for the plot, you'd be like, this is so funny. To me, it's funny. It feels insane. I also read in the comments of the webtoon that on Webtoon, it's like a censored, kind of cleaned up version. But wherever else where this first was, is 18 plus, like uncensored, like it gets wild. So if that's something you would like to find on your own time, feel free. I don't judge you. I support you. And I know it's supposed to be like this tragic, like her life is just so like she works like 20 jobs, comes home, her evil husband is evil, and then like she's like the most beautiful character in the world, and then she meets like this guy who's just like head over heels for her, and then that kind of kicks off their story. But yeah, maybe I'm the crazy one here and it's not supposed to be funny, but I thought it was a little silly. But yeah, this was a interesting read. Fair warning, if you are going to read it, it is smut. Anyways, moving on. The next one was suggested by Finari2469, Hand Jumper. Now this one was very interesting. I liked this a lot. Immediately, when you said Hand Jumper, I immediately thought of the movie Jumper from way back when, that movie that failed. I don't think it did very well when it came out. And I don't even remember the movie. I watched that so long ago. I do remember he jumps though, but that's not related to this at all. Just wanted to say that. I really like the art style of this. I really am into like this. I really like the hand-drawn look of it and like the really thick lines. Like I really like the art style of this story. So Hand Jumper. Seon Lee despises aberrants. They wreak havoc on society with their strange, unthinkable powers. It's just too bad she happens to be an aberrant herself. Forced to fend for her life in a deadly aberrant core, she's determined to make it to the top, and her unusual ability should help her, if she can figure out how to use it in time. So this is a very interesting story, and I really liked it. So the main character lives in this world where only a few people gain powers. Because they gain these superhero abilities, they can basically choose whether to use it for good or for evil. But it's still set in like modern day society, so a lot of people who have nothing to begin with, and then we kind of like out of nowhere gain these abilities, end up robbing a bank, or end up stealing food, or end up like committing a crime because nothing else has changed in their life other than now they have powers. So there's going to be like people who use it for good or use it for evil, which I find very interesting in the story, because I really like that idea that they kind of came up with here, where it kind of is like, imagine if right now in this political climate, random people, like a few million people just randomly gain superpowers and nothing else changed. Like the system still failed them. They're still in poverty. What's gonna happen? Of course, someone who's gonna like, they're gonna either abuse that power or try to use that power for themselves. There's probably, I would assume, there are still good people out there. But there's also like people who are just like, my situation is still shit, but now I have superpowers. Now I can actually maybe make my life a little bit better. So let's go rob a bank. I really find that kind of aspect interesting, because obviously if I was homeless and I was hungry, and now all of a sudden I have superpowers, I'm like, okay, now I can go steal some food. Maybe that helps me steal more food than usual. Also because the main character, Seon, she despises these people completely. Like there's no nuance to her. To this main character, her main goal was to become a prosecutor. So everyone in this world is really excited to become an aberrant, or whatever, how you say this. Everyone's excited to become like a person with power, except for the main character. And I wonder, as the story progresses, because I didn't read too much, I read it a little bit, But I wonder if as the story progresses, she starts to kind of see their side a little bit more, because she kind of sees, from what I gather so far of this character, she kind of sees it very black and white. I just wonder if she kind of starts to see how maybe the law isn't as black and white as she wants it to be. Like, because the main character wants to become a prosecutor and wants to basically get rid of like all these evildoers and people who use their power for crime, basically any type of crime. I wonder if as the story progresses, she kind of sees like the other aspects to it, like, because there are very straight up just evil people, and yeah, those people should, you know, definitely be locked up. But then there's people who are around her who kind of tell her, it's kind of interesting, like there's people around her who are just pure evil, but then there's also people who are around her who are not, and they kind of want these powers because their life currently sucks. But she's not really hearing that so far. She isn't hearing it out at all so far. And I wonder if that changes as the story progresses. I really am interested in this for that aspect. But yeah, I really like the premise so far. I really think, I really like the art style, and I really like the story. I really like the characters so far. They're all very interesting. I really like this world that's kind of being built here. So yeah, I really like Hand Jumper so far. It's very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, I really liked reviewing all these stories. After I finish this, I probably will finish all of them, if I haven't already. But yeah, this was really fun, and I would like to do this again. So please leave in the comments below webtoons you think I should check out and talk about, because I really liked all of these. I think everyone should check all of these out, especially Tears on a Withered Flower. Everyone should read that one. That one's really funny. It's not, I don't think it's supposed to be funny. I just thought it was funny. But yeah, that's it.